What I have right here is Ulanzi's SL SparkLite compact camera flash modules, the SL01, SL02 and the SL03. It comes with a single point hot shoe interface to be mounted on your camera. All of these modules have the same flash intensity. Some have continuous lighting mode for video and only one that allows you to use both the video light and the flash. It is able to be adjusted 90 degrees upwards and it comes in a white color variant. Straight out of the box, all of these units work as a compact direct flash sitting on top of your camera, but there is a way to do off-camera flash that you might not be aware of. Today we'll be taking a look at 3 compact everyday carry flash modules made for cameras from Ulanzi that utilizes a single point hot shoe mount. Essentially, this means the camera only triggers the flash when the shutter button is pressed. There is no TTL mode or any in-camera settings to play with. It's just a manual flash that syncs with your camera's shutter button. And so this is Ulanzi's entire SparkLite camera flash lineup: the SL01, SL02 and the SL03. All 3 models have up to 4 levels of flash power. The base ISO of 100 has a CRI of about 96 to 97 with a color temperature of 6500 Kelvin. Essentially, the features of these flash modules increases from the SL01 to the SL03, and hopefully this video will help you decide which model is sufficient for your photography and videography needs. Do take note that if you are using the listed Canon cameras, they are not compatible with single contact flash and flash triggers, as Canon has removed universal pin support. So the SL SparkLite flashes will not work with those cameras. Now, as always, disclaimers first, this is not a sponsored video. However, Ulanzi did send over these units for review. They do not get to preview this video before it is published, and everything I say is of my own opinion. With that out of the way, let's dive right in. So we start off with the unboxing of all of these items, starting from the SL01. In the box, you get a warranty card, an instruction manual, and a flash unit itself. The unboxing of the SL02 is exactly the same, with a warranty card, an instruction manual, and the SL02 Lite. And onto the final unboxing is the SL03. That comes in 2 colors, that is black and white. Included in the box is a warranty card, an instruction manual, as well as a USB-A to USB-C cable, and finally the SL03 flash unit itself. Now, do take note that only the SL03 has a white variant of the flash module in case if you're looking for an all-white setup. And that's basically the unboxing of all 3 SparkLite flash modules. Now, let's quickly address the similarities of the SL01, 2 and 3. All 3 flash modules have the same level of flash power, which is labeled full, half, quarter and 1/8 power, indicated by the LED at the back of each of these units like such. All of the units have the same trigger button to fire the flash manually, and they all have the same single pin contact hot shoe mount located at the bottom of the unit. The flash on all 3 models have a color temperature of 6500 Kelvin with a CRI of 96 to 97. A good thing every flash module has is unlimited runtime for the video light and flash when plugged into a USB-C port at the side of these units. Now, the key differences between these 3 are simply battery life in terms of the number of full power flashes, depending on the model, the recycle time of the flash, the added features such as continuous lighting mode for video, which is only available on the SL02 and the SL03, and some game-changing features unique to the SL03 like angle adjustments for the flash and the ability to have continuous lighting working simultaneously with the flash, all of which we will cover in details in the next section of the video. So let's break down each of these models, starting with the SL01. Being the tiniest flash out of all 3, dimensions of the SL01 sits at around 43mm in length, 35mm in width and about 28mm in height, and it weighs in at only 33 grams. It has only one feature, which is its flash module. To power this on, long press the button located at the side labeled mode that is actually the on and off button. Wait a couple of seconds and the flash will power on. This round LED when lit red means that the device is recharging its flash, and once the flash is fully charged and ready to fire, it will lit green. And pressing this button manually triggers the flash. Now, the flash power settings are indicated by this tiny red LED from full, half, quarter and 1/8 power, which you can toggle between each of these settings when pressing the mode button. So the SL01 has a tiny 250mAh battery. At full power, is able to fire up to 375 flashes with a recharging rate of about 3 to 4 seconds interval. On the other hand, at the lower setting at 1/8 power, you get to use continuous flash with a low burst mode setting on your camera. On the right hand side is where the Type-C charging port is located, and it takes about 1 hour to fully charge it. When plugged in, a small LED will lit up red and green when it's fully charged. And that's pretty much everything about the SL01. moving on to the SL02 that comes with an added feature that is the continuous lighting mode for video that is right under the flash. Now this of course increases the size and weight of the unit, bringing its dimensions up to 43mm in length, 20mm in width and about 46mm in height, and it weighs in at about 3 grams heavier than the SL01 at around 36 grams. Now this small video light is rated at 95 CRI with a color temperature of 5600 Kelvin. The output power is kept at only 1 watts with no power settings to adjust. Also, it is nowhere mentioned about how long the video light lasts, so after testing the SL02's video light on a full battery, it was able to last up to a good 88 minutes. Do take note that the video light does not work simultaneously with the flash, as this feature is reserved for the SL03. Now the way to operate the SL02 is slightly different. This round LED right here is actually the on and off button instead of the mode button that was on the SL01. Long press the button to power on and off the device. Red indicates charging and green when it is ready to fire. Again, pressing it manually triggers a flash like such. As for the mode button, long pressing it toggles between continuous video light mode and flash mode. When you are in flash mode, the flash power is indicated the same as the SL01. Now the recycling time, the 250mAh built-in battery and the single pin hot shoe interface are the same as of the SL01. Last on the list is the biggest of them all, the SL03, that packs a ton of features. But let's start with its dimension. Sitting at around 43mm in length, 23mm in width and about 68mm in height, and it weighs in at around 43 grams. Aside from the continuous lighting mode, the SL03 offers an angle adjustable tilt of up to 90 degrees of the flash, ideal for photographers that prefer bounce flash and not direct flash photography. The ability to point the flash upwards to the ceiling and bouncing the flash back down on the subject for a softer feel can be game-changing instead of firing the flash directly on the subject, which usually creates harsh shadow in the final image. As for operating the SL03, it is similar to the SL02. Long press the round red LED to turn on and off the device, red indicating that the recharging of the flash, and green when it is ready to fire, and single press manually fires the flash. Long pressing the mode button switches between flash and continuous video lighting mode, and in this case, it actually activates continuous lighting mode and flash mode together. The battery on the SL03 is slightly bigger than the SL01 and the SL02 with a 300mAh battery. The flash at full power is able to generate up to 500 charges, but the continuous light mode lasted only 51 minutes, which is kind of surprising. I'll be sure to come back to this point in the later section of the video. It is also worth mentioning from the spec sheet, the flash on SL03 has a 97 CRI rating, which means a better representation of colors from the flash. The video light is also slightly brighter when compared to the SL02, but again, no adjustable power level for the video light. Earlier I mentioned that the SL03 allows users to be able to utilize the video light with the flash module active. In low lit environment, pulling focus in the dark is made easier as the video light illuminates the subject, wrecking focus, and the flash fires subsequently. The last cool thing is that the SL03 comes in white color, in case if you want matching color theme flash and camera like the ZV-E10 or the ZV-E1 in white. And that pretty much sums up the technicalities of each of the SparkLite camera flash modules. Now in the next section, we will talk about my user experience with each of these compact flashes. I've briefly used all of these flashes on a recent shoot, played around with it and gathered some thoughts. First things first, the flash power on all of these flashes are rather identical. I have ran a few tests to verify this, and from what I can see, the exposure level does seem to be brighter on the SL03 as compared to the SL01 and 2. Apart from the fact that the SL03's flash placement is slightly higher than the SL01 and 2, and this sort of changed the exposure level. The flash recharging cycle on paper indicated that the SL01 and 2 takes about 5 seconds for a full power recharge, and the SL03 takes about 2.5 seconds to recharge. From my testing, it was a little off the charts. Now, as expected, the SL03 is the fastest to recharge, but the speed hovers at around 2.95 to 3 seconds, with the SL01 recharging at 3.55 seconds, being a tad bit faster than the SL02, which is slowest at 4.5 seconds. I tested this a couple of times and returned with the same results. And as for the video light performance, as mentioned earlier, I was surprised to see the bigger battery on the SL03 lasted way shorter than expected. As a matter of fact, I did did notice the SL03 brings slightly brighter than the SL02. Just by looking at the LED arrangement at the fronts between the SL02 and 03, both modules seems to be using the same amount of LEDs, but the SL02 lasting over 88 minutes with a smaller 250 mAh battery had me thinking about the 1 watt output power that Ulanzi claimed it to be, as it seems like the SL03 could be around 2 watts of output power, but I cannot confirm this entirely. Now, with flash photography, we all know that pointing a flash directly at a subject usually creates harsh shadows behind the subject, but if that is the look that you are going for, then any of these flash modules will suit you just fine. Where the SL03 shines is the ability to angle the flash upwards to bounce the light off the ceiling for a much softer look compared to direct flash. Now on to the things that I like and dislike overall, starting with the things that I like, which is the size and ease of use of all of them. Now to be honest, I kind of like all of them, the SL01 being the tiniest flash among all, the SL02 having the longest battery life for video, and the SL03 having able to tilt and have the flash bouncing off the ceiling are all the points that I like about each of them. However, with all of the goods, there are some things that I didn't really like. First is the limitation of the lens choices, as longer lens actually creates shadow at the bottom frame of your image. This is especially with the height difference between the SL01, 02 and the 03. For example, with a 14mm G Master lens, you get a huge shadow at the bottom frame of the image. Now to be fair, the 14mm is actually a huge lens being placed directly below the flash, and so I swapped out to a Samyang 18mm which is way smaller. This problem basically disappeared. Now when using longer lenses like the 24-70, whenever I'm at 24mm with the SL01 or 2, I would get shadows of the lens like such, and only at 70mm the shadow is less pronounced at the bottom frame. Ideally, shorter and more compact lenses are more suited for these situations. Now it is also worth mentioning that all of these flashes are limited by the shutter speed of your camera being at 1/250, as any higher shutter speed will cause this to happen since all of these flashes do not support high-speed sync. And for the final bonus part promised at the beginning of the video, if you don't like direct flash photography and if you don't want to only bounce the flash off the ceiling, there is one device that you can add that will allow you to perform off-camera flash. And so I picked up the Godox CT16 wireless radio flash trigger that came bundled with a receiver unit. You simply attach the wireless trigger on your camera where the SL01, 2 or 3 sits on the receiving unit like such, and just like that you get to perform off-camera flash photography where you can angle the flash however you want. This works on all of the units, as the wireless trigger simply sends the same trigger button to the receiver unit that is connected to the SL camera flashes. That being said, if you are interested in any of the SL SparkLite flash modules, the SL01 is currently priced at $20 US, the SL02 at $22, and the most expensive of all, the SL03 at $25. That's $5 difference between the SL01 and 03. If you need the tiniest form factor that does 90% of the job, the SL01 could be the right choice for you. And if you are in between wanting a long-lasting video light for emergencies as well as a flash, consider the SL02. Or if you want the tiltable flash and continuous lighting mode with flash, then the bigger SL03 would suit your needs. That being said, if you are interested, be sure to check out Ulanzi's website. There are a ton of details. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description box down below. A huge shout out to Ulanzi for sending over these for a review. And so, which SparkLite camera flashes should you consider? I will let you decide. And that's basically it for this video. I hope you have found this video insightful. If you have any questions or things you would want me to test out, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'll be sure to get back to you guys as soon as possible. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in. My name is Ken. I'll catch you all in the next video. Stay safe, peace out, and bye-bye.
That would be hilarious.